Where's my video? Yes, use video. Oh. Hello. Okay. Everything's being a little bit slow here, but I'm pulling everything up. There's Lisa and Noah. Good morning.
I'm going to go grab my drink. I'll be right back.
Sounds good. I'm just getting some stuff up and running.
Morning, Sadie. How are you doing?
Morning. How are you?
Good. Went to a networking event last night.
How did that go?
Pretty good. I met a life coach that sounded kind of interested, and then also a nurse.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Start forming those relationships, and it's always like, if you felt good connection and like, felt something, then, go for it. Cause there's a lot of times where like, it will look like it makes sense. And then you'll be like, I don't like that person, or you really like that person, but it doesn't.
Exactly.
So it's like,
well, this nurse actually is interesting because she's actually starting a new job next week as a school nurse. And my mom, that's what she did. My mom was a school nurse for many years. She started in the hospital and then transitioned into being a school nurse so she could spend time with us as we got older.
yeah. I mean, everybody that I know that's a school nurse loves it. And I like a couple of them were really, trying to convince me to look into it myself. And
it doesn't make sense for you because you're moving all the time.
Right. And like I get the, appeal type thing or whatever, but it definitely like I just don't know if it's like my speed, and I love kids, but like in a controlled environment. And I don't know that school is as controlled as like I would be able to.
And I don't know if you could really set up a schedule that would work for your schedule either.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it would be great because I have or I have one kid in elementary school, and then I'll have one maybe in kindergarten next year. We're waiting to see if he'll be in kindergarten. And so kind of makes sense, but there's just other things. I'm trying to pull up. I know I've got the video up for you, Lisa, but I was trying to just get another picture of Nootropic, and I'm like,
I did. I grabbed my bottle.
there you go. Yeah, I got mine too. I mean,
Cool.
But I know, obviously,
I wonder, do you want just like a static picture?
No, I think I got it figured out now. So, but yesterday I was in my office, like in my actual job. And so with that, I had brought my computer. So this morning I had to like kind of cold start my computer, like it hadn't been plugged into my station since yesterday morning. And so it was just like, everything's moving a little bit slow. So now I've got everything I need. And so I'm going to share screen in just a second. Let me pull that one up.
Oh, Gabby's asking for the link.
Does anybody have it handy? You can get in my
the Zoom link.
Yeah, just send it in the group chat.
I can probably pull that up for you.
So we've got our itinerary up here.
Mine saves, which is nice for maybe it's not in her phone or something.
Yeah, mine tends to save too. I'm weeding through. I'm just gonna go back to one of the links last week and just shoot her that one maybe. There we go. Let's see. I think I got it.
So thank you. You sent that over. We'll see if anybody pops out, but do we want to share any wins? Does anybody have anything good to share this week? Things you're excited about?
Yes. Can I go? Yes. Okay. I've been doing my business a little bit different than everybody. And I had an extremely huge win this week. A childhood friend of mine that we invited to the group. Actually, we talk every Monday just to kind of do our thing, whatever. And next week, she wants me to present Isogenics nutrition to her. And she came to me with it. And I think that's why it's such a huge win, is that goes to show you guys people are watching.
Mhm.
Just she's like, oh yeah, I was watching in the group one of your calls, and she goes, I've done a little research on my own, and I think the other part that I really love about her and about this connection is her connections.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to be at. So huge, huge. I'm really excited. I'm going to do a mock ISA presentation on her, for practice. She's so open and so excited. And it was just a huge win because I can really see a lot of people she knows on a team with me. So with us. Sorry.
And we were just talking about this with Noah too, like, and you actually like her. That is the important thing too.
Oh,
Yeah.
girl, if that's one thing you don't learn in this process,
Right.
some people you want to be friends with and some people you want to do business with. And in the process, you find out there's some you want to do neither with.
Right.
And be it what it may.
I love that. All right. I am going to broadcast us live in the group as well, just so we can have a few more people. So, all right. Any other wins? Anybody else have anything to share this week? Let's see, Gabby was in Florida. Got her beach on.
Yeah, I saw that.
I would just say, yeah. So I love.
Wait, you're kind of hard to hear.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that was better.
This is like my old phone, but yeah, I would just say like using our products while traveling. It's so incredible how convenient they are. Every time we went out and bought a meal, it was $80 to $120, you guys. And we're not like white linen tablecloth people. It's just feeding 4 people when you go out to eat, if you each have a drink. So we only went out to eat once per day. And then we just did our shakes and snacks. And so like it saved us so much money to be able to travel and then not feel bad about that one meal that we spent money on. We got a ton of seafood. When you live in Minnesota, you don't get a lot of seafood, right?
Right.
It's so good down there. Oh my gosh, it's the one thing, like I swear I would move to have fresh seafood. But yeah, just like being able to indulge, but still like again, 2.5 pounds. It came off after just like the other day, 2 days of like getting back to the regular shake schedule. And so yeah, just utilizing our products, you guys, to live life, have fun, but stay on track. I love how simple it is.
That's so good. Yeah. I mean, there's stress involved when we go on trips, right? So sometimes like your body just like will kind of hold on to it a little bit. So, just getting back into the groove and getting back to your own bed and all those things can change a lot. So that is awesome. We've got a couple weeks before our cruise. And so I've got I'm going to try to do 2 more 2-day cleanses before we go. And so we'll see how that goes. And then I was talking to my daughter this morning and we're like, what do we need to purchase for this cruise? And I was like, what's the status of your bathing suit? Because she's grown so much lately. And I was like, do I need a new bathing suit or swimsuit? Like, do I need a hat? Like, what do I need? So it's kind of fun and exciting to think about here. So yay. Okay. Any other wins? We got another minute or two. Anything else? Otherwise, we can jump in here. So this week we're talking about hormones, which is our topic. Hormones they've turned into a slang term, where it's like, oh, they're hormonal, but hormones are really the communicators of our body. It's a natural thing. Some are easy to test and some aren't. Some are just, a blood work, and others we just go off of symptoms. We have a few different locations in our body that secrete hormones. And if your thyroid or your adrenals or even your reproductive organs are out of whack, your hormones can be out of whack. A lot of things people don't a lot of people don't quite realize that men and women both have testosterone and estrogen. It's just that men typically have more testosterone, women typically have more estrogen. We hold more estrogen in our fat, you know, things like that. So it's like once you start understanding some of those things and know how you can recognize if something's out of balance and how to get it back into balance, it really makes a big difference. But before we get too much more into that, that was kind of an introduction. We're going to have our very own Lisa share her story today. Lisa and I became friends through my best friend and her coworker from years and years ago. And we started using isogenics around the same time. And we just, you know, hit it off and liked each other. And she was like, I'm coming to California. So we got to meet in person. And we've stayed in touch. She was the one that introduced me to ISA, where I got my certification for nutrition and weight management stuff. And so she's been killing it. And I don't know how much of your background you're going to share today, but her story is incredible. And she's one of the strongest people I've ever met in my life. So I'm so excited for you to share today. And yeah,
Okay.
here's some time.
Sadie,
Okay,
are you hearing a little breakage?
What's up?
I was hearing some background noise from like a speaker or something.
It might just be because more than one person's off mute. So why don't you mute while she talks? It goes away.
Okay.
Okay, let me know if it's any better because I do have a heater going too. Okay, it's cold, my friends. Okay, all right. Thank you, Sadie. Yes, I am Lisa. I am. Oh boy, where do I start? I am a mother of three. I have three boys. My twins are 25, and my other son Gavin, he's 14. I am also the blessed mom to two fur babies, and yeah. I met Sadie here a couple of years ago through Isogenics. We both have some pretty wild stories. My passion with Isogenics is definitely mental health, community. A little bit about me. I am a 13-year survivor of addiction. I've been clean 13 years. I'm proud to say or want to add that, you know, it's the strength of finding the right people too. Sometimes you can go ahead and you can quit your drunk or your drug of choice or whatever it may be, but until you quit that lifestyle, you're not really going to be free. And so that said, that's too why I'm so passionate about health and wellness. I spent a good portion of my life putting very toxic substances into my body. Not only that, but I'm a firm believer that just the environmental factors alone, the air we breathe, the water we drink contains so many toxic substances. When I was introduced to Isogenics through our mutual friend Cassie, I knew right away that it was for me. I had just come back from a spiritual journey. Some of you know, I had lost my son. The ironic part to this is I lost him to addiction. And so again, hence the passion for that. So I lost Ian in about 2017, went through some major life changes and moved home to Fargo Moorhead, where I'm at now. And just decided that, I don't know, I was at this stagnant. I just gotten out of 15 years of healthcare, long-term care, activities director, straight up memory care, behavioral unit for over 10 years. So that gets on your, really weighs on your mind. So kind of fast forwarding, moving everything together, I quit my job because I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew the world needed help and I'm here. I'm going to do it. That was pre-pandemic. So the pandemic really gave me a good time to like really evaluate what I want to do going forward. And I found my niche. I really think in preventative care. You know, that said, there's a lot of people that didn't struggle mentally prior to the pandemic that really had a tough time getting it through or getting through it. And I found personally that sticking with my nutrition plan and the right people, I flourished and I love it. I love where my life is at right now. I again have been using the products for 3 years. I have noticed a difference, not only in my physical body, which I am going to be 49 years old. My mentality is so different, so clear. And when we started coming out with our products like Nootropics, I started researching more about how many of our products straight up have adaptogens in them. And, I didn't realize that the shakes I'd been drinking, my cleanse, my ionics that have been, I already had 2.5 years under my belt of adaptogens prior to, some of our elixirs coming out. And I've honestly noticed a change. I also have a diagnosis ADHD and depression, anxiety. 6 months ago, no, not a medical disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. 6 months ago, I was able to go off all my medication. And I do that by adhering to a very strict diet and lifestyle. And that said, these adaptogens, I really feel is where I find my focus, my energy, my clarity, and just that overall enhancement. Going forward with things, I still will always have a passion for Alzheimer's, dementia, and thank you. And then also with addiction. So everything truly tries together, which feed your body, feed your soul, feed your mind. So there. Any questions? I'm always open to questions.
So powerful, you guys. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing.
You're welcome.
That was amazing, Lisa. Thank you for sharing your story. I'm just like so inspired over here by you. Just sharing that took like amazing, just bravery and courage. And it's so inspiring. Like it just makes me want to go help other people that could like relate to your story. So thank you so much for sharing.
You're very welcome, you guys. And please share my story. Please connect me with anybody that you feel might benefit, just like I kind of do with all my friends too. So you're welcome.
It's living by example. All right. Lisa, I'm gonna mute you so we can go into the topic here, because I think it's my microphone when you're on, so only one of us can be talking at once. So fun. Okay. So I love that. Molly shared her story before too, and has a history of alcoholism. And so she's really passionate about sharing through her story and everything too. And so like, I love people that have been through the fire and walk out to grab water to help put the fire out for other people. Like there's a saying that's more beautiful than what just came out of my mouth that is in that realm. That's like just so amazing. Like that's my jam. So we're going to change gears a little bit here and talk about hormones. And then we're going to, Lisa's going to share a little bit about her experience with Nootropic. And so basically hormones, like I said, are the messengers in our body. They're chemicals, they're released through different glands and different things in our body. And if they're not released the way that they should, your body can go a little haywire, right? So that's where the term hormonal came from. So women are hormonal when they, have their cycles, things like that. But men actually have a cycle too. It's just not, the same. But you may notice that testosterone peaks and comes and down, up and down for men in general. And there's also a life cycle too. We always think about the younger, more aggressive men with their testosterone, and then they lessen as they age, and women have that too when we go through menopause and things like that. And it's not, like you said, it's not something that we like really have a lot of research on or have as much like media involvement and, loud enough people talking about it, right? Like it's out there, you can follow people on TikTok that'll tell you all about it or whatever, but like it's not taught in schools and things like that, right? So some of the other hormones that I feel like are somewhat mainstream, but not really fully understood either. And I could talk on this, all day, but we've got cortisol. This is a big one. Cortisol is a stress hormone, and this is also cyclic. It drops and it is released at certain times of the day. A lot of times, if your cortisol is high, that can trigger your body to store. And so if you are in like a constant fight or flight mode, which let's face it, living today puts you in fight or flight, your cortisol is always active, right? And instead of just like a steady release of it like we should, it's just kind of flowing all of the time. And so that causes us to store because it thinks that we're going to be basically in need of this reserve of energy in case we are trapped or chased or like, just these different things. So one of the examples that I learned in school, in nursing school, that I really liked is fight or flight. These things happen to you as if you are being chased by a bear. So you may sweat more, which makes you more slippery in case the bear catches you and you're slippery. Your eyes dilate so you can see better. And so even if you're in the dark, your eyes get really big, all that stuff. You actually turn off your digestive and urinary systems. So whenever you see somebody in a movie who's got a gun to their head and they pee their pants, that's actually not how it works. If you have a gun to your head, you don't have to pee, but as soon as they take that gun away and there's relief, that's when people sometimes pee their pants. So fun fact. But the fight or flight does all these things to your body as if you are being chased. It's a survival mechanism, but how many of us are living in that survival all of the time? So you may not be constantly eyes dilated or constantly sweaty, but your blood pressure is up. You may have digestive problems. You may have all of these other issues systemically, pressure on your heart, things like that, the storing. So it's really important to manage your stress because that helps with your cortisol. Another hormone is melatonin. And so how many people thought that was just a supplement? It was just a gummy that you can take to help you sleep at night, right? Melatonin is actually in your body, and it works. Again, everything is cyclic here. Like, it's that circadian rhythm that we're used to with the sunlight. So if you've ever met anybody that's worked night shift, they get all out of whack. It is hard to work night shift. Even the people that have been like working night shift in the ER for 25 years, like talk to them. They're a little loony. I love them. I've worked night shift. I get it. But there are some things about our body. It's natural to be awake during the daylight. I just saw a good friend of mine talking on TikTok or whatever, where she's like, I know how to hack your brain. I know how to hack your brain. Anytime you're in a funk, go into the sunlight. And I'm like, what a simple thing, but it's so true. Like there is so much power in nature and in the natural aspect of what the earth can do. And so sunshine, even the rain falling on your face, your feet in the grass, your feet in the dirt, like sand, ocean, there's so much connected to Mother Earth that has to do with helping our stress levels, which in turn help our hormone. And melatonin is, I didn't even say it's for sleep, right? So melatonin is what helps you fall asleep. So there's other ways that will keep you asleep. But when somebody is like, oh, I take melatonin for sleep, it helps them with the act of falling asleep. It doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to have deep sleep or REM, or you're going to be asleep for 8 hours straight. So if somebody takes melatonin, they sleep for a couple of hours and they wake up at 4 a.m., they can't fall back asleep. Don't take more melatonin. You got to work on whatever's keeping your body in that fight or flight, goes back to stress, to stay asleep. And then finally, trying to be mindful of the time so we can be on for the product, because I could literally talk about this all day, is talking about insulin. Insulin is mostly identified in our brain with diabetes, right? Like insulin is secreted by our pancreas. What happens to a lot of people? Some people are genetically prone to diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes. Type 1, we're not going to talk about that as much. That is generally diagnosed as a child and has other types of symptoms, but type 2 diabetes, specifically diabetes mellitus, is what happens when we put more sugar in our body than we can produce insulin. And so that sugar, it's looking for an insulin mate in our body, and we're not producing enough, so it doesn't have anything to grab onto. So we end up spilling, it's a really fancy medical term, we spill the sugar through our urine. We end up storing, because the sugar is not used for energy. It's a carbohydrate. It doesn't get used for energy. It's the first thing our body goes for energy before protein or fat or anything else. And so you spill these sugars, and then your pancreas, eventually it can't keep up. It kind of peters out. And so it's only producing so much insulin. And so when people get put onto medications like metformin, or if they have to take insulin, via a pump or a shot or things like that, it's to help keep up with the lack of insulin that is being secreted in your body and or the high amount of sugar. So we've all known or heard of people or whatever that are like, I'm going to eat that cheesecake and I'm just going to give myself a little bit more insulin before I go to bed tonight. That is so bad on your body, because not only is this affecting your pancreas, it affects literally every organ. And diabetes is the gateway drug to cholesterol, to heart problems, to obesity, to all of these things. And so it is, for most people, I will not ever say all people, for most people, preventable. And it can be reversible for a lot of people. And so if you're ever at the point where you're getting your blood work done every year or every couple of years, and you're seeing it slowly creep up, and you're like, oh, it's a little bit above normal, it's a little bit above normal, it's a slippery slope. Take care of it, work on those habits, start working on it. What I love about Isagenix, because I got to bring it back here, all of our sugar that we use is on purpose. We do not have any excess sugar in any of our products. So if you look at our Amped Nitro, or you look at some of our meal replacements and you're like, oh, there's sugar in it. Yeah, it's on purpose. Your body needs sugar. But what we end up doing in especially American culture is we just overdo it everywhere else. And so some sugar is good. Monitor it, make sure that you are not going overboard. And yeah, that is my soapbox on that. We could do an 18-part series on this or whatever. And I'm no expert. So if there's a fact that I might have said wrong, let me know. But this is the stuff that I've gathered through nursing school, through all of my training books and all those things. So we're going to switch directions one more time. And we're going to talk about Nootropics, which is one of our 3 elixirs. And I'm going to go ahead and start us by watching this little video. And then I want Lisa to share again.
Focus.
You guys hear it?
We could all use a little more of it. And with so many things fighting to earn our attention, it's no wonder our ability to concentrate and remember things is getting lost in all the noise. Enter Isagenix Nootropic Elixir, a sleek, ready-to-drink elixir that supports both on-demand focus and long-term brain health. Whether you need to study, prep for a big presentation, or simply be more present and think better, Isagenix Nootropic Elixir aids focus, memory, and higher cognitive function. Plus, it supports your brain health and cognition for the long term. What makes our Nootropic Elixir unique? The secret lies in a modern-day blend of brain-supportive botanicals like green tea, a natural caffeine source that gives your brain the buzz it needs to support mental focus, concentration, decision-making, and working memory. Almond, known to support general vitality and markers of cognition and neuroprotection. Purslane. This ancient plant has been used for centuries as a health-promoting nutraceutical with brain support properties. Phosphatidylserine, an essential component of brain tissue that helps memory and cognitive capacity when taken daily. Beetroot, known for its natural components that support overall blood flow and brain health. Then we wrap it all up in a grape and berry flavored tonic that can be taken on the spot and on the go to optimize your brain power. Whether it's focus, memory, concentration, or overall functioning and health of our brain, nootropics are champions of cognition. Fuel your focus with Isagenix Nootropic Elixir.
Woohoo. Okay, I'm going to mute. And Lisa, why don't you share us how you feel and what it's done for you?
All right. So, let's see. I have to say the one thing that I like about the elixir is the fact that that the green tea caffeine content in there would be just like having a cup of coffee. You take it out, you shoot her down, and you are good to go. And again, not a medical disclaimer, but I do want to say that I used a lot of the nootropic in my bridge between going off my Adderall and just kind of doing a little bit of weaning there. And I know this might even sound silly, but you go to drop something and usually I like fall over and all this stuff. And I'm like catching things with my left hand, guys. Like I gotta say that I definitely see that correlation there. And I also saw the improvement of that coordination after more on that okay, so I quit my meds about mid-May, and more towards the end of June is when things just really started flowing. So to me, it kind of showed me, it's gonna take the while. I was on my Adderall for about 2.5 years, so probably that good 6 week run to get all those little metals or whatever out of your body. And ever since then, I mean, I don't use it consistently, the nootropic itself, but I use a lot of our adaptogens on a daily basis. But during that time for me, you guys, it was super crucial. I was also coming off of, Zoloft, I think it was, for anxiety and depression. So I kind of feel like that nootropic maybe gave me that little bit more of an even keel there. I think it really did some stuff, some brain stuff, which was really cool. One another little tidbit or something that at least worked better for me. During that bridge, I did like to take 2 a day. I feel like it just kind of got my body a little bit more going. One right away when I got up in the morning, empty stomach. I'm a firm believer that, whatever you put in your tummy first is what's going to make or break it. And then kind of that little extra one, maybe, 4 to 6 hours a little bit later. Huge play into, into my conversion. And I think I was also going to mention beetroot. I think it's super cool too, how there's beetroot in there. That's the one that I was really like, because I think that one's really popping up a lot more in holistic health and wellness now. Yeah, very good for the blood flow. Very good. And I know even just as a coloring, because we want to get rid of all those colored dyes and everything, in different products. And I know a lot of companies or whatever use beetroot, in their formula. And I want to say, if I remember right, in our birthday cake shakes, the little birthday cake, little sprinkles in there are made from beetroot, which I could eat the sprinkles on my own, just the sprinkles. But yeah, adaptogens, I could gush and gush between my own personal experience. 10 years, I was actually a dementia trainer. I trained employees, other staff on dementia. And I don't know a lot of the sciencey stuff, but I do know that brain health at the end of the day got a couple things going for you. You want to keep your wits and your physical activity, and that is super hugely important. When you see somebody that has both long-term, short-term memory care loss, and just knowing that had they known years ago what to do for preventative maintenance, would have been a game changer. But we know now, and that's why we changed the game now.
Yes, I love that. All right, so we're a little bit over, and that's totally fine. We try to stay within 30 minutes for the recorded portion of it, and of course, we're not robots here, and we like to share stories and talk about things, and then we stay on. Anybody can stay on for the next half hour or so to kind of keep talking about different subjects and things and sharing our stories. So if you're watching this recording, it's much better live. And sometimes I live stream it into our Facebook group and stuff too, and people can catch little snippets of there as well. And you're always welcome to come on and keep your video off and stay on mute and just pretend like you're not here. You can be a chat guru if you want, but really just this assignment is I challenge everybody to look into hormones a little bit more and educate yourself, because there is so much information out there that could be that key to unlocking something in your body that you didn't know needed assistance. And so I always encourage yearly blood work. I always encourage, getting your wellness checkup, and things like that. And so just really analyzing that, and maybe even noticing if you've been on isogenics for products for a little while, have you noticed any of those hormonal shifts in your body? They're anecdotal, right? Because we don't cure, treat, prevent any disease processes or anything like that, but a lot of people seem to have a shift and change. So of course, our vision here is to allow everybody a seat at the table. We talk about community and relevant product ideas and stuff in health. And so if you have any ideas that you want to talk about, if you're like, I really feel like we should talk about this, please submit those topics to me because I'm currently working on March and April to come up with products to talk about and different subjects in the matter of health and well-being. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording part, and everybody's welcome to